Greetings, future Tigers. Thank you for joining us again for another virtual recruitment chat.
Yes.
Today is exciting. We have Gavin Hughes, who is the head drum major for the Sonic Boom of the South. So, prospective students for the class of 2020, you definitely want to make sure you tune in today so you can hear from Gavin. He's going to tell you all you need to know about the band and becoming a part of the band. And not only that, some other information that only students need to know. Hey, Gavin, how you doing today?
I'm doing well, and you?
I'm doing good. I'm so glad you could make it today.
Yes.
So some of the questions that students have is, how do you become part of the Sonic Boom of the South?
So to become a part of the Sonic Boom of the South, one of the first things that you need to know is the website, and that's the sonicboomofthesouth.com. You can get there. You can also get there through Jackson State University .com, and you go to the liberal arts and type the music, click the music building link, and get there that way, and you will see the Sonic Boom of the South. So you have to know how to apply online, and what's going to happen now because of everything that's going on is you'll probably end up having to do a virtual or online audition. And so you would go on the website and make sure you're reading thorough, and the direction and instructions will be there letting you know what to do. Now, some of the requirements for the audition is I don't exactly know how it's going to be now because of everything that's going on, but I can tell you it's going to be very important, first of all, for you to be fluent on your instrument. If you want any kind of money, and if you want to be successful in the band program, you want to be fluent on your instrument. So don't wait. Don't plan to wait till you get to college to start to practice. Don't plan to wait till you get to college to start to try to really become well acquainted with whatever instrument that you're playing. And so sight reading is going to be a large component of sight reading. Make sure you know how to sight read, different quarter notes, eighth notes, different patterns. And so what you can be doing now is preparing those things. You can go and just pull, music, different pieces of music out. If you want to print random pieces of music out from databases, you can do it that way. You can also go online, go on Google and print off rhythm sheets. Doing that, knowing your scales, 2 octaves, the different primary scales that you've been taught by your high school band director, or whatever, making sure that you know those different scales, that you know them fluently, that you can tongue up and slur down. If you want a wind instrument for percussionists, there is a requirement also that you be fluent in scales on mallet percussion. And so you want to make sure that you are that you know that. Also, you want to know your rudiments. And so that's a very big component, knowing your rudiments. Having a prepared piece also, that's for both instruments. You want to have a prepared piece that you're able to play. I'm not quite sure if that's going to still be in because of the way that they are doing auditions now. They won't be in person, but I'm quite sure that it'll probably be the same. And so having a prepared piece of literature, not a pop tune, but a etude, something that really showcases your versatility, your dexterity, your agility on your instrument. And that's for percussion and wind instruments. And again, percussions, make sure that you are fluent, again, in your rudiments, and that you can do a mallet piece. Again, I'm not sure if they're going to be strict about that, because we do know that some people usually do not own their own mallet percussion. That's usually something that's provided by the school, but it would do you well to at least kind of get hit the ground running on some research, and how you can know how to approach it in case that they do still require that. What else? I'm trying to see if I missed anything. So sight reading, scales, rudiments. That's about it. That's about it as it pertains to the audition process, I believe.
Well, Gavin, since you are a head drum major,
right?
So, what was the instrument of choice that you were playing before you became head drum major?
I played trumpet. I was a trumpet player.
Okay, yes. And how many years did you play the trumpet? And
I played the trumpet. So At Jackson State, I played from my freshman year to my junior year, and so I played the trumpet for 3 years, and then I was drum major for 2 years, head drum major my last year.
Okay.
And I started playing trumpet in middle school.
Okay. Okay. So now, are you a music major?
Yes, I am a music major with an emphasis in voice, and so I'm a music education major with the vocal emphasis. Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. Awesome.
Yes.
So, okay, so since you've been a part of the band,
Right.
since you've been at Jackson State,
Yes.
so tell us, how do you get that balance? The balance of classes and band practice. How do
Yes.
you balance all of that?
If you do the program right, because one thing that I can say about the band staff at Jackson State is they are so very well like knit together, and just as it pertains to how they do things, they have a very great systematic and strategic approach to educating the students. Uh, on things as it pertains to music and being a well-rounded student in general. So we have a retention officer, we have people like a Lowell Hollinger, who is very big on grades. And so my thing is, if you come into the band program and you do the program right, and the way you do that is follow all the directions given to you by your higher ups, which is Mr. Little, then the rest of the chain of command as that follows. You'll learn about that later. But if you do that, you will be fine. So when I came in, I can just tell you about my freshman year. We had something called study hall. Now we no longer have study hall, but we still do have great advisement academically. And so when I came in, what we had to do is, and of course, being a freshman in the band, you don't have to worry about the partying because you won't have time for it. If you really want to be a member of the Sonic Boom of the South, you don't have to worry about not having time because you out with your friends, because you generally won't be doing that. Your first couple of years will be spent doing strictly band and school, and it's good because my freshman year I didn't do that, and so I went to band practice. I learned my music. I went to sectionals. Then I went to my room and did work. I probably linked up with some of my band family and practiced some more. Did whatever. Then later on the next day it's school, so we go into class, and I would schedule different times for me to go to the practice room, and then after that I would have study hall. And there would be so many hours of study hall that I would have to complete. So this is like on days that I feel like I got homework, on days that I feel like I don't really have homework. I would have to find something that was productive for me to do. And so even though we don't have, and it was good for me because I had a 3.8 GPA my freshman year. And so I had that to ride on my whole tenure through.
So students, y'all hear that? He still had a 3.8 and in the band.
Yes. And so and we had even before me, there were people in majors that someone would say even that's harder than music, and they had it was one guy, he had a 4.0. And so you could definitely do it. A lot of people kind of try to put that excuse off on the band, but it's usually not an issue of band as much as it's an issue of time management. And so that's the big thing. So even though you may not have study hall, you will still again be advised to manage your time well. So you will make time for the things that are important to you. So if you're coming in, this is nothing I'm saying is something that you won't hear if you become a member or if you are admitted, to do the band program, all right? Because the first day you'll be talked to about this, and this is something the band directors do an excellent job on reiterating and being very adamant about. Making sure you are committed to your studies. You are a student first, all right? And so, we have an excellent band program here. We're the best, SWAC in the land, all right? That's no questions asked. But we also have a staff that take a great pride in producing a well-rounded musicians and just well-rounded people. You know what I'm saying? In general, we ambassadors of just goodwill all together. And so we have to make sure again that you got to be serious about it, because nobody's going to wake you up if you don't arrange that. Because mama not coming to school with your daddy, won't be here, auntie, parent, guardian, what have you, that will be all up to you. And so again, just making sure that you manage your time. I always say set alarms. If you're not a person that set alarms, just go and start setting practice. Just setting alarms for everything you need to do, and that will help out a lot. But definitely, time management is important.
And so, students, I think one of the major things that you heard Mr. Gavin say is that time management is a must, and that mom and dad will not be here on campus to make sure that you make it to your classes, to make sure that you make it to band rehearsal on time. So make sure that you're committed to it when you come to Jackson State, because we want the best from you academically, and the best for the sonic boom of the South if you are so selected.
Yes.
Gavin, do you have anything else you'd like to share with prospective students about the band? Anything else?
Sure. Yeah, because I get, I'm glad you had me here today because I get DMs via social media all the time on what it takes to be, a member of the Sonic Boom of the South and what is it like. And so, this has been an excellent and awesome experience. This is something that I knew I wanted to be in the Sonic Boom of the South at least as early as second grade. Like, and so, but I knew I wanted to be head drum major that early too. And so, that's that's another tangent with just God and just, believing and trusting and, he'll work that stuff out. But, so it's a lifelong dream. And so when I came, I was very excited. I didn't really know what to expect. I heard things and, I heard other kind of stuff, but I wasn't really sure. Some things that is one of the biggest things I guess is ringing now is that make sure, when you come, do not expect or do not allow yourself to get caught into any thing that is not conducive to your progress, your productivity in the band and as a student at Jackson State. A lot of people are wondering, I'm sure even now watching me, about the big H word, and that's hazing. And so, like, we have a no nonsense, no, absolutely no toleration for that. We have a zero tolerance. That's what I'm trying to say. Zero tolerance policy on hazing. And so, don't. If you're coming and that's kind of in your mind, I could already just encourage you now to reroute, because that will cause a lot of trouble. We have had issues even as so early as, if you're following us, this year with that, and those persons have been, they're no longer with us, and great penalties have been allotted to them for that. And so, you just making sure that you keeping the main thing. Also, a lot of people have aspirations to obtain leadership positions in the band, whether it be section leader or drum major. I'm a former drum major and head drum major. And I can tell you, uh, first of all, leadership is very important. Not You don't have to have a leadership title to be a leader. And the band directors are going to really be looking for that, like who has this leadership quality about themselves, even before they've obtained or been given or earned a leadership title. That is extremely important. And so, are you coming to practice on time? Are you setting an example? Are you leading by example? Are you practicing what the band directors preach and the things that you preach to your section? Are you upholding the morals and the value system instilled by the band staff and instilled by the program? So that's very important. A lot of people again want to be, a drum major and that sort of thing. Are you Do you push yourself? How well is your discipline? Are you somebody who keeps up a lot of mess? Are you in a lot of trouble? Are you someone who gets nervous in front of people and kind of buckle in and doesn't really know how to communicate? Do you have good communication skills? Communication skills, that's a really, really important thing too. How well you communicate with your peers, how do your peers see you? Are you a positive or negative influence to you? Are you a cancer throughout the band program, kind of spreading negativity and big on complaining versus compliant, or is it the other way around? And so those are the sort of things. Somebody asked me, I think, what was it this week? What does it take to be a Jackson State drum major? And my response was, it's consistency. Um, of course, the thing that you always see when you click on YouTube is the showmanship. But even beyond that, and before we even get to that, is you have to have leadership skills, a discipline about yourself, and you really, really, really need a drive, because we have two trainings at Jackson State. We have spring training and we have summer training as it pertains to the drum majors. Mm-hmm. And so during the spring training, is kind of where we kind of weeding out the weak links, the weeding out the fat, or the people who may not be as well suited for the job as others. And then when you get through that training, the real training is in the summertime. And so, that's where Jackson State drum majors are made during the summertime. The kind of springtime is not, it's serious, but it's not as intense as summertime. For an example, last year, when I first received head drum major, we had the spring training. The month of May, after we got out of school, after we had commencement, we took maybe a week or so off, and then we trained literally from then to band camp. And so it's like a year-round job, not to mention the pep band performances that you have in the springtime and the different things, the basketball games, the different things that is going to be required of you. And so band really doesn't stop. And so if you're kind of one of those people who kind of get old or bored or tired of doing kind of the same thing, you really have to have a passion and a great drive and a zeal for this program, because if you don't, it's going to consume you. You'll probably be one of the people who don't make it 4 years, who don't finish the program strongly. So again, just really making sure that you have things in perspective before you come. And a lot of those things, some of the things that you may not have, but because we have such a great program, because we have such a great band staff, because we have such a great student leadership team that works with the band director and is on one accord, so that the same thing that this person is saying, you're hearing it all the way down. And so things will be reiterated, and we will keep things before you, or they will keep things, because I'm not in the band anymore, but they will keep things before you. And so just making sure you have a spirit and you're ready to learn.
All right, Kevin, you have been awesome today. And prospective students, I hope that you have listened to everything that Gavin had to share today. If you're really interested in being a part of the Sonic Boom of the South, then make sure you follow everything that Gavin has given you today, because we want you to make it for the band. We want you to be successful. And we definitely want you here at Jackson State University for the fall of 2020. Should you have any questions, please visit our website at jsums.edu, and you can go to the music department and look up the Sonic Boom of the South. Now, this concludes our virtual chat today with the Sonic Boom of the South. But also, don't forget to come back and be a part of the next chats that are on Mondays and Fridays at 1:00 p.m. And follow us on social media, JSU Undergraduate Recruitment, on our Twitter page, Facebook, and Instagram page. So thank you, and we'll see you next time. Thank you again, Gavin.
Yes, ma'am.